want to start with a question. What would you do if after a night of partying, maybe out in the town, having drinks with your mates or so, you come back to your car to open the trunk and then to find the body of a dead prostitute? Who would you call? Who is that first name that pops up into your mind going, I need to call the police? You go, oh wait, no, maybe. I need to call my wife. Well, no, not my wife. You're going, so who do you call? This is a very interesting question for me because I think it tells us a lot about who we are, where we are as a society. And that's what I want to explore today. But first, we need to take a selfie. This is Rembrandt, the king of selfies. I believe he was doing selfies before it was cool to do a selfie. And I think the selfie isn't it an interesting thing? 2013 was the year of the selfie. We needed an entire year to celebrate the selfie, apparently. And it was also the year, I think in 2014, that the word selfie and twerking was added to the dictionary. And then future and optimism was taken out in the same year. So we live in this world we are so self-obsessed, are we not? We love the I. I think I everything. There is a website, I think, I everything. I everything. We I in front of everything. We love ourselves so much. We all have our little Facebook pages where we make ourselves the hero of our own story, right? So you put the best profile pic on that you can find. Normally it's one that's taken up from like really high, so then you look a little slimmer. And then a friend of mine actually said the other day that his goal weight is not to take selfies from such a high angle. So, and you put on your Facebook page, it's always so interesting to me, like you put on your Facebook page the movies and the books that you want people to think that you have read and seen, right? So, girls, I know this, your favorite movie is like Dumb and Dumber 2. On Facebook, it's Pride and Prejudice. And you're like, and if you're a guy, your favorite movie is sort of like Fast and the Furious number 36 or something. But on Facebook, if you're smart, you'll put Pride and Prejudice. Right? And this is what we do. We create this persona outside of us, this thing how we celebrate ourselves, we make ourselves a hero. You can actually go, I think it's onto Marvel's website, and make yourself into a superhero. So you can be like your own little superhero. So we live in this selfie culture, and it becomes negative after a while. I think it becomes very negative. I read just the other day about a boy in the UK that tried to take a perfect selfie. It took 200 a day. And then eventually tried to kill himself because he couldn't get the right one. So it does take a bad turn after a while. Today I want to tell you a bit, our group of friends, like our little community, we decided more than a decade ago to respond to this world, to react to this very high selfie world in a way. And this is, a large part of this is our story and the way that we act to it. This is my friend Sonia. Sonia is a very interesting person. She went to live in the Andes for a couple of years, a few years ago. She went to live in the Andes, and so much so she even became a high priestess. Apparently you can do that. So she became a high priestess there, and she tells the best stories about that time. The one I love is this story. This is the death road in Bolivia that goes up into the Andes. And how is that for? Imagine that road sign. You're driving along going, death road left. Oh no, you're going death road up there. So it's super narrow. There's no guardrails. There's a little person on a bicycle there, which you can see. And the buses also take that road. So the bus would drive along, and she would say this old rickety bus, and the tires would be like on the edge of the cliff. And there's often not enough space inside the bus, so you'd sit on top, holding on. And then when you look down into the ravine, the only thing that you can see is the wreckages of other buses. And you sit on this thing, and then what happens is another bus is coming down the mountain. So now you have to reverse. This one has to reverse to make space for the other one so that you can actually find a space that's kind of wide enough for both to kind of squeeze past and not fall, off into the ravine. And she would say, like, into the mountain, there's like these little niches that are carved as you drive along, and they've got the Virgin Mary in there. And she says, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what religion you are, when you pass that niche, you make the sign of the cross. So that's the way it works. So Sonia tells about this tribe. What's just fascinating for me about it is she says that in the tribe, they don't have a word for I. They never refer to themselves as I or me or myself. They always use plural. Isn't that great? Because they need one another to survive. There's no way you can survive in that mountains, in that jungle, on your own. It doesn't work like that. So they never refer to themselves as I. The older people need the younger people that are strong and that can hunt and that can gather and that can build. And the younger people need the elder people to give them the wisdom about where to hunt and where to go and what to do. So this community is this complete like symbiosis. And I think that that's one of the friends that we miss when you look at your Facebook page is, somebody like this. Who has got this guy on his Facebook page? No one, I don't. So we've lost our elders to a large extent, I think, especially in our culture. We've lost them completely. We kind of outsource them to old age homes, or retirement estates, which is the same thing. It's just double the price. We've kind of put all the knowledge and skill and wisdom that we've gathered as a society and kind of locked them up in, Plettenberg Bay or Still Bay or wherever they are. And that is a sad thing because we terribly, terribly, terribly need that. I came across this video. It's on Vimeo by Etsy Handmade. This guy, Kurihira Watanabe, is a Japanese sword maker. He's one of 30 in the world that is still making swords and making a living of it. It took him 40 years to perfect the craft. And he said something that struck me so hard, and I think we can learn something from. He said that it is his duty to build up a disciple that is better than he is. Isn't that profound? My duty to build up a disciple better than me. And what he says after that is he says the reason that he has to do that is because if he doesn't, the tradition will wear thin with time. Because if you don't build up somebody that's better than you, they'll be worse. And then the next one will be worse. And the next one will be worse. And before you know it, the craft will be gone. The tradition will be gone. But when we look at our businesses and our companies, how many people intentionally go in a company and say, I want to build up my employee that they are, or the person that I'm managing, I want to build them up so that they become better than I am. You go, hell no, there is no way. Right? Because what will happen? They'll take my job. And we all live like this. We feel super threatened. So we don't build up other people and we just go it alone. Instead of people coming to you and leaving you inspired, they'd rather come to you and then feel threatened after they leave you. And this is very sad for us. And I think in our country at the moment, it's no secret that we have a massive youth problem. A large part of our youth is unemployed, and even more scary than that, they are unemployable. So even if we could get the structure ready, and even if we could do the groundwork, we still can't employ them. This is frightening for us. Another world, across the globe, the youth, I think, when I view the world at the moment, the youth can be described by one word. It starts with an E. I always like to ask this question. It starts with an E, and I go, energetic, or, I go, no, entitled. That's the word that describes our youth globally the best, I think. Entitled. Now you mix that entitled with the unemployed, unemployable, and the selfie culture, we have a massive problem. But the truth is, we are all living a lie. We live a lie that says you were born an individual. Because you were not. I was at a conference the other day and was proclaimed from the stage, you are an individual, you are an individual, you are an individual. Felt like it was like an Oprah show. You are. Going, no, you're not. We all carry a scar right here that tells you that you were not born an individual. You were born as part of a people, as part of a family, as part of a nation, as part of a race, as part of a culture. Or at the very least, you were born as part of humanity. My daughter did this for me, for the talk. There are 4 friends that we need. The first one is an elder. We need somebody, a mentor. Intentionally choose a mentor that we need. I have many. I've spent hundreds of thousands traveling across the globe to find mentors and authors and people that I like and admire, to sit at their feet and learn. Then you also need a disciple, somebody that is following you, that you can pour into. Even if you've been working for a year and they just started, you know more than they do. And you've got something that you need to share, that you can pour into another person, pour into a disciple. I have to tell you this story. This is Tani Marina, Auntie Marina, like we would say in our culture. So Tani Marina is my wife's mentor. She's this classic Tani, perfectly dressed, little pearls, lipstick. When my wife Ria, when she comes to her house, lives in this little tiny little cottage house, and just always tea ready, on the nice service with the cubes and the whole deal, Persian carpets, everything, like the whole stereotype. It's all there. So when my wife sits down, the first question that Tani Marina would ask her is, "So, how is your sex life?" And we'd be like, "But how great is that? How great is that those, for me, how great is that those questions are asked? You know? All people know stuff that we don't know. They don't run, they walk. They look you in the eye when they talk to you. They don't quit on WhatsApp. They have a lot to teach us. And she is very, very precious, one of the few. We live in this paradox at the moment. We've got like thousands of Facebook friends, but we're lonely. Like the biggest disease of our time is not Ebola or whatever, it's loneliness. People are literally dying from loneliness. We live in this crazy, massive paradox. And social media has debased the term friend. Because now you can friend and unfriend. What is that? So we need our friends, and we need the third person, besides the mentor and the disciple, is a best friend or a closest friend. This is actually me and my best friends. Me on the right with the nice calves, and then my friend there on the left with the nice shirt. So this is my best friend, and we are carrying our daughters there both. We taught them to take a taxi from the suburbs into the inner city, because we don't want them to be afraid of taxis unnecessarily. So we did that. So we live very intentionally into one another's lives. We share our lives, we criticize one another, we encourage one another, we share our budgets even. So once or twice a year we'll like send our budgets across at the same time, and then you can like comment on the other ones, going, "Oh, I think you're spending too much on this, I think you're not giving enough, I think you're not investing enough," this and that, which is frightening, but very awesome and very cool. We raise one another's kids, we discipline one another's kids. It's pretty amazing, actually. The last friend that you need is that one on the right, the fairy. A friend that is not like you. A friend that is different than you are. A friend that is not the same color as you, not the same culture as you, not the same religion as you, not the same sexuality as you. Because that friend has this amazing way of holding up a mirror to you to show you your flaws and your prejudice. And they can just maybe show you how wide the world actually is and how beautiful it is. And I think that is what we need. So, who do you call when you find a body in the trunk of your car at 3 a.m.? Hopefully, you have 4 friends at least. One in front of you, a mentor. One following you, a disciple. One close to your heart that knows your secrets. And one beside you that is different from you. We are not made to go it alone. We are all in this together. With our world at the moment being in so much conflict, friendship is the answer. It's not up to governments to organize peace and reconciliation. I believe truly that it is the duty of every human being to form simply friendships. We are all made, you and I are the same. We were all made from the same African soil. All of us across the planet, the matter that's inside of our bodies were once the matter of the stars. And can we not recapture that? Because that is the silver lining that will carry this world forward and save this world. And that, I truly believe, is an idea worth spreading. Thank you.